Welcome, welcome! It's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And as you can see, this is Ships of the UEE Navy Part 3. And first ship that we're going to talk about is the Aegis Retaliator. This is an old ship, like centuries old ship, that has served the UEE military very well for a very long time. This is first geared as a bomber. It is a massive bomber. The ship itself is 70 meters long, 42.5 meters wide, and 12.5 tall. And it's got a minimum crew of 4 and a max crew of 7. It also has 5 turrets on it that all have size 2 Badger repeater laser cannons. Then, the best part of it is it carries a bunch of torpedoes, size 9 torpedoes. So this thing is a long-range bomber at heart. That's what it was first designed to do. That's what it excels at the most. They would send this out in a small little squadron, probably with some Vanguards, which we will show you here in a bit, to go out and bomb things a long ways off, several systems away. And it was very good in that role. Now it has also acquired other roles because it is a highly modular ship that you can put Titan bays in for the big Titan armor. You can make it accommodate more crew. You can put science modules in there. You can interchange the torpedo modules with other things. So it's very modular now. And when the ship first came available, it was only available as a bomber to buy in the store. Then, probably a year later, maybe a year and a half, they got the idea that they would do modules for certain ships, which I know now that they regret they ever did that. But this ship, they decided to make it where you can change out the 2 torpedo bays, because it's got 2 torpedo bays in it, and switch that out with other things. Very cool idea. I understand why people would be interested in it. I like the ship. It's pretty neat, but it is very flimsy for its size, and the guns are... You're going to have a crew, and the guns are kind of going to be underwhelming, most likely. Now, if you can get all of them on target at once, then maybe you're going to be able to obliterate some smaller fighters. I don't know. I'd like to test this in game with my org. Maybe they're going to be willing to run turrets on this thing. They may be a little buggy. The ship's been buggy from the very beginning, so who knows. I love the way this thing looks, and it packs a punch. This is a great bounty hunting ship. If all it is, you need to take out somebody because of the torpedoes. Next up, we have the Aegis Vanguard. The Vanguard comes in multiple variants. It comes with the Vanguard Warden, which is what you see here. This is the main dogfighting version. It also has the Vanguard Sentinel, which is the E-Warfare. So it's designed to take down enemy shields, to spy on them, to do all sorts of electronic warfare against them. And then the other is the Harbinger, which is the fighter bomber. It will be able to equip size 5 torpedoes. The last Vanguard I will go over next, but I want to end it with those 3 in this category right now for this ship that I'm showing you, because they are most alike. The 4th Vanguard is its own variant. And the reason why I say it's its own, because the first 3 that we mentioned, the Sentinel, the Harbinger, and the Warden, all could be interchanged, certain modules. They had them called battlefield upgrade kits. When these ships came out, you could buy the battlefield upgrade kits that you could swap out parts for one ship. So if you wanted to have part E-Warfare on the Warden, you could change that out. If you wanted to be able to use torpedoes on the Sentinel, you could do that. So they made it very modular. One of the greatest things about this ship, as you can see right now, is it can take a beating and still go. It was advertised as a ship that could pretty much, if you just had the living module, you could come back alive from a long distance multi-system adventure. These Vanguards were sent out on long range missions to get the job done, and they are very capable of it. As you can see, I'm missing half my ship. Let's take off another wing. I bet this thing still flies with no wings and just like the tail. It is that tough. It is my favorite fighter when it comes to, you know, one-on-one engagements with other fighters. The only problem is fixed guns are in a bad state. They're not in a good place right now, and this thing really excels when you can use fixed guns. It has 4 size 2 fixed guns in the nose that you can change out with other size 2s of the same nature, specifically for a Vanguard, and it's got 1 size 4 gimbaled gun in the front that you can change out for a size 5 cannon. It is deadly. Then it also has the turret up top. If you have a gunner, you can really hurt something with it. It's a fantastic ship. Awesome ship. You can't just buy them anywhere. You have to wait till sales come along before you can pick it up. So let's talk about the Aegis Vanguard Hoplite. This ship was designed specifically to replace the Redeemer. That's right, the ship that we talked about in the previous ships of the UEE Navy fleet. The Redeemer just wasn't ready for what they needed it for. So what they did is they created the Hoplite to take its place in a Javelin ship bay. So it became the ship that would deploy from a Javelin destroyer whenever you needed some sort of a dropship or gunship. It's not technically a gunship, but it still packs a big punch like all the other Vanguards, with the exception of the Harbinger, which had the torpedoes. It still has the size 2 guns in the front, 4 of them, and the size 4 gun mounted on the very front that could be changed out for a fixed size 5. It's a beast. It's an awesome beast. I love it. It's cool, but it also has jump seats in the back for 5 Marines. So it's a small dropship. It does live up to that role. But it's also capable of going long ranges. In the next video, I will probably discuss the Anvil Valkyrie, which is another type of a dropship air support superiority or support craft. It is truly a dropship, but it doesn't have the capability to go the same kind of range as a Vanguard Hoplite does. The Vanguards were designed for that long range capability, whereas the Valkyrie is not as much of a long range ship. We'll go into that more when I do a video with it in it. But the Hoplite still maintains all the tough features that the Vanguard Warden, Sentinel, and Harbinger bear. As you can see, I've already lost a wing here. It flies fairly well for a ship its size. It's not as nimble as some of the lighter fighters and even the medium fighters that we have gone over. This is a heavy fighter, but I guess I should say it still flies kind of like a heavy fighter. It's not the most maneuverable. If you want maneuverable, you're going to have to go down to a medium or a light fighter. But this thing is tough. It's as tough as they come. There's none that are really tougher when it comes to fighters in the game. This would be the one I would choose, period. You know, unless you just need to get in and get out as quick as possible, this bad boy is the one to choose. So let's move on to the Starfarer Gemini, made by MISC. Well, is it really made by MISC? So the original Starfarer is originally made by MISC, but the military decided they needed to have something a little more armored and a little bit more capable of protecting itself so that it could fly fuel missions to its fleet. Every fleet needs to be able to maintain their fuel levels. So what better way than to get the ship that's dedicated to capturing fuel, processing fuel, and refueling ships on the go. So the UEE Navy says, well, the Starfarer already does that. So what if we just added some armor, maybe made the front nose cone that was capable of refueling or scooping more fuel, made it into a missile rack, and yeah, just changed some of the interior a little bit, repainted it, etc. Maybe gave it some bigger guns. So that's what they did, but they didn't have MISC do it. They had, I believe, Aegis take the MISC Starfarer and kind of retrofit it to fit the military needs, because the military really loves Aegis as a manufacturer, have since the Messier times. Messier was one of the ruling families for a long time in the UEE. So Aegis took it and fixed it up, gave it more armor, gave it a bigger punch, and now you have the MISC Starfarer Gemini. So it's kind of a variant on the regular Starfarer, but it's really its own ship. And when you go in the ship, it definitely has some differences. I believe in the regular Starfarer, it doesn't really tell you where everything is, whereas in the Gemini, it'll tell you bridge this way, crew quarters this way, engineering this way. It has little guidelines. So it's kind of neat in that regard. Very cool ship. Very awesome. If you have a fleet, or if you're going to be part of an org that has a fleet and you are interested in the fuel gameplay, I highly recommend that you pick up a Gemini, because you're going to be able to survive a lot longer than you will in a regular Starfarer. Just that armor, the missiles, all of that make this ship a lot tougher. And it can still transport the fuel that you need and even some cargo. This thing's capable of fitting a rover in the back of it. So it has definitely got a lot of room, a lot of punch, but the big but, it's a big ship. Really big. It is over 100 meters long, almost 50 meters wide, and 24 meters tall. It's massive. And it moves like a freaking tugboat. Like, you can't turn this thing very fast at all. It's one of those ships that I hate taking off in atmosphere and trying to break atmosphere on a planet. It just takes forever. So yeah, if you're interested in moving cargo or doing fuel runs, just know that this is not a maneuverable ship. You better hope that whatever targets you're shooting at are in front of you, because it's going to be really hard for you to get on target. So guys, with that said, if you like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell icon to let you know whenever I do more of these videos. I'm going to post up all sorts of information here at the end of the video. It tells you about the org, where you can become a member of the org, about our Discord. If you're interested in getting involved in the game, you haven't bought your first package, it'll have my referral code on there that you'll get an extra 5,000 UEC. Even has a couple of my org mates and their Twitch and YouTube information, so check them out. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you guys out in the verse.